Here is why your followers don't see your content anymore on Instagram and how to fix it. Recently, Instagram CEO Adam Mosseri came out with a short video explaining 2 big changes to the Instagram algorithm and how reach is distributed on the platform. And the top comment on this post with over 1,500 likes was this: have you considered simply showing Reels to an account's followers so that those who have already decided they're interested and have proactively opted in, albeit maybe years ago, get to see it? And this was coming from a chef that had nearly 100,000 followers on Instagram and was rightly frustrated about inconsistent reach. One of his most recent Reels at the time of recording had over 400,000 views, yet the one before that had just 40,000 views. So like 10 times difference between 2 Reels posted a couple days apart. And so he's rightly upset, as are a lot of people facing similar issues, including some of my clients and likely yourself if you're watching this video. So you're not alone if you're seeing this, and he makes some solid points in this comment. So now I'm going to try and explain why your followers no longer see your content, even if they want to, everything you can do to improve it and start ranking better and letting your followers actually see it, and then one simple trick to guarantee your audience actually see your posts. So firstly, why does this happen? Someone finds your content on Instagram, they love it, and so they check out your account and they then follow you, but after that, Instagram don't show them your posts. It feels like they must be against you in some way, shape or form, but that's not the case. Let's look at it like this. If someone follows 500 accounts on Instagram, and let's say these accounts post an average of 3 times per week, that's 1,500 pieces of content per week that Instagram could show you, or 215 posts per day going out. So when someone opens up Instagram and they look at their home feed to go and consume some content, there's 200 posts that day from accounts that they chose to follow that Instagram then has to rank from most likely to enjoy to least likely, and then show to this person in that order. Now, how Instagram order this and rank it is based on both the engagement of that content and the relationship between the account and the person consuming the content. Meaning someone could choose to follow you, but when you post, you are showing up as the 100th post in their home feed out of 215 posts. So unless someone scrolls way down your feed, they simply aren't going to see it. Now, in the process of scrolling way down the feed, they could get distracted by a DM that comes in. They could have a story pop up. They could go into the Reels feed. They could click on the explore page. They could get a text from their mate that takes them off Instagram, or they could simply put their phone down. Not to mention that if the first post in their feed is a Reel and they click on it, all of a sudden they're now in the Reels algorithm. So when they're swiping, they're looking at Reels from people that they don't follow, which makes it so hard to actually see content from people that you follow. Now, adding on to this, making it even harder, as we touched on before, people spend more and more time consuming content from the Reels feed or the explore page, where they're shown content from people they don't follow, and means they're probably finding more accounts to follow, and that only worsens the problem here because then there's more content in their feed and it becomes harder and harder. Often myself, when I go to consume content on Instagram, one of the first 10 or 20 posts that I look at, whether it's a story or whether it's feed posts, maybe a Reel that then sucks me into the Reels algorithm rather than the home feed of people I follow. Honestly, is usually more engaging than content from people I follow, and they sort of suck you in that way. And so this is what creates the issue, that people don't actually see much content from people they follow, and you probably as a creator aren't getting much reach to the accounts who follow you. But how do we actually go about fixing this? Well, honestly, it's tricky, because even using that example above of 200 posts being in someone's home feed, you could be in the top 10% of content that day in their ranking system, sitting at the 20th post in the feed, and there is still a good chance that before someone gets to your content, they are distracted by something else. Meaning, to get consistent reach to all of your followers, you'll have to be in the top 1 or 2% of posts from who they follow consistently, which simply is not possible, as all of your followers have different tastes and preferences for what they do or don't like. And someone might only be partially interested in your niche in general, which means no matter how good the content is, you're never going to be anywhere near the top of that list. So yes, you can focus on choosing better topics for your content, telling better stories, editing your content in a more engaging way, and making better content, as every guru or every YouTuber, myself included, constantly say, which all work, but even then it's more likely to increase your reach to non-followers than actual followers. Now, personally, I've found the best way we reach more of our followers is to improve our Instagram story strategy, sharing more raw behind the scenes content that is a bit more authentic and builds a strong relationship with our audience, making us more than just this sort of like big creator or sort of corporate account. Now, this would also extend to using polls in your content and interacting more with your audience in the comments to make it feel like more of a community than just sort of a one-way relationship. People then know that if they do leave a comment, they will get a reply, which opens a conversation, which encourages people to do so more often, which will often increase your reach to your audience. And then on top of that, you can invest a little bit of extra time into this strategy that I'm about to share with you to guarantee that your content reaches your existing audience every single time, which brings us onto point number 3, and something you've probably heard me say a few times at this point on the channel if you've been watching consistently. And that is the boring old strategy of growing your email list. Now, as Instagram and most social platforms become increasingly more focused on recommended content because it's often more engaging, rather than showing content from people that you follow, you want to employ a simple strategy that gives you the best of both worlds. Really strong reach and growth and access to new people, whilst also having direct access to contact your existing audience. And with this, what you'll do is use your feed content to reach new people, drive these people to your email list where you can then just directly contact them, send them emails, and so on. Then use both your stories and emails to nurture them, provide value. And if you have a business that you're trying to promote or you've got an income stream from it, you can use it to promote that, whilst your feed content continues to bring in more and more people. This way, you get the best of both worlds. You get strong reach and direct access to your audience without having to worry about an algorithm. Now, if we go back to the original person who left this comment, it was a guy called Ed Smith, and he's posting cooking recipes. He's a chef. I didn't dig too much into his account, but posting lots of stuff with eggs. Now, what he could do is put his 30 best recipes from his account into a PDF, connect it to a mailing list, which I see he's already created using Substack, and then claim a free month-long trial of ManyChat Pro using the link down in the description. From there, he could create a simple automation so that when people comment the word cookbook, they are sent a link to get these 30 recipes. And then finally, in all of his posts, he can add the call to action, comment cookbook, and I'll send you my 30 best recipes to make easy, nutritious, tasty meals right from the comfort of your own kitchen. Now, from here, he can send those people weekly emails with his new recipes or new content, tips, learnings, anything that he's up to, and he can get 30, 40, 50, maybe even 60% open rates on his emails. So he's got direct access to the people who want to hear from him the most. And the best part is that once he creates this PDF, which will be a one-time investment of time, the setup for the rest of this would take under an hour and would be entirely free for the first month. After that, you might be paying $50 to $100 a month for emails and ManyChat. And trust me, this would add so much more than that in income to your business as a creator. Now what would happen is once it's set up, every time he posts and people find his content, they would be able to opt in to get his recipes and join his email list where he can directly contact them. No algorithms to worry about. If you write good stuff, people will open it. If they don't, they don't. Simple. Now, this also gives you the added benefit of being safer if Instagram decide to restrict your reach or your account gets deleted or hacked, which, touch wood, we hope never happens, but it could. Now, the other thing that I want to add and is worth noting is what we touched on earlier with stories, because stories are only really shown to your existing audience. And if you have a solid story strategy, you get a lot more reach to your existing followers and generate a lot more revenue. Now, I've got other videos on how to use your stories, which I'll link below to avoid making this video too long. And that there is a pretty simple plan you can use to keep growing your audience, maximize the amount of reach to your followers, and start building a strong community. I'll leave links to a free trial of ManyChat, a tutorial of how to set it up, and my free course, which runs you through how to grow an audience and stay in front of any of these algorithm changes, down in the description below. Other than that, I'll see you next time.